Hi, this is Mike Palmer from Mike Palmer Homes. Just wanted to make another video presentation of a floor system we just built, and I just want to explain what our thinking is and what we look for at this stage of construction and explain some of the finer points. Reason we frame this, it's called open flooring, and we have the building inspector comes and does a flooring inspection. The reason they do that is so they can see if there's anything they don't like or anything that needs to be corrected for code, it can be corrected now. It's a lot harder to do once you have a house built on top of it. Anyway, some of the things we do, this is a double band board right here. This is where a front porch is going to be. It's all cinder block. It's all cinder block, so it's a solid block foundation. It's not what we call a pier and curtain wall, which y'all might not understand what that is, but that affects some of the different ways we do things. Right here we have blocking in between to obviously keep the floor joist from twisting over time. Now, right here, if you see that lower piece, that's called a girder. That holds up all these floor joists. They overlap on top. And that is what we call a drop girder, meaning it is lower than the floor joists. This is floor level here, right here. And this is the girder. This is a triple piece of wood, and the floor joists overlap over top of it, and that's what holds it up. And it makes for a nice smooth floor when that's underneath. Now we have something over here. It's called a flush girder. This flush girder is the same height as the finished floor. And then we have a ledger strip that holds up our floor joist. So rather than the floor joist sitting on top of the girder, it's butted right into it and gets held up by a ledger strip. They're both structurally sound. The reason we did this over here is this foundation is these piers get low to the ground. Okay? People have to get under here and work, and if this is 12 inches lower or 9 inches lower, nobody's going to get underneath that girder. It's going to be too low to the ground. So we want the workmen to be able to work. We want them to work comfortably, because if it's impossible to work under there, it's harder for them to do their best work. So that one, I do prefer a drop girder over a flush girder, but this is just a little small area in the back room, and a flush girder is perfectly fine. I just prefer this a little better, but that was a concession we made because we want to have the room in the crawl space, because if there's ever an issue in the crawl space and you can't access it, it's less likely that you'll ever catch it or address it. Plus it makes the workman happier. So that was one of the finer distinctions we made. Also here, I don't know if it really shows, but the side of this lot is really high and it's really low down there. So we didn't want their foundation to be way up in the air and have a great wall of china. So we kind of tapered things out, and we kind of robbed Peter to pay Paul. Now you can see here, this slab is actually lower than grade here. So we waterproofed this really well, and I think that'll be fine. But if we didn't do that, then our approach on the driveway would be very sloped, be kind of an Evel Knievel ramp, and the men and women driving into their garage, it's just going to be much more comfortable if we can keep this as flat as we possibly can for backing out and turning around, and it will contribute to the aesthetics of the house. Anyway, another thing to look at, this is a pressure treated wood that sits on top of our plate, and you can't see we have seal under there just to keep air infiltration and bugs at a minimum. This is a vent. Now what they did, this is really not necessary, but I'm really glad they did it, because this is a header here. This holds up the floor system. But the way this is set up, by code you really don't need that, because it's less than 16 inches, but putting this header here right over the vent, it's something that pleases me. I mean, this is what I look for in crews, ones that like to add the different quality and structural features, whether or not they're required to, or whether or not they're told to. Also, this is our crawl access. We like this to be large enough, obviously, to fit equipment and everything, and it's just much nicer if you can get in there, if the homeowner can get in there without having to get down on his belly. Also, this floor system, you can see it's stepped down. We stepped it down here. Here's the height of our masonry right here. If we kept that height all the way across, you'd have this huge masonry wall over there. We're going to stucco this, but still, it's not all that appealing to have that much concrete showing, so we stepped it down, and we're going to put siding along this. This is almost like a second story. And we framed it out of 2x6s, but your floor system starts here. This really probably won't be noticeable to the eye, but this is going to have a little less masonry and a little more siding, but it will be more pleasing to the eye. In the back, and you can see when we got over by the deck there, we stepped it back up. This is where the deck's going. Sometimes we'll do a filled-in porch and just a slab, but this was really too high to make that cost effective. But rather than just seeing the ugly pressure-treated posts on your wood deck, we made columns, and we're going to stucco them, and it's going to be more aesthetically pleasing than just just wood 4x4s and pressure-treated wood 4x4s, and there'll be a lot less maintenance. Over on this side, you can see it steps back up, and then the grade really goes up over by this garage here. But we didn't want to carve up the lot any more than we had to, so those are just the adjustments we made. See right here, right at our event, we got another double rim board there again, just another, but technically not necessary, but it really, just one of those quality features that we like to see. Anyway, also, as I repeat over and over, this is one of the key features we look at. When you come in for your garage slab, it's going to be about this high. We only want a couple of steps going into the house. We don't want a great big set of stairs, because that's your most commonly used path of travel. That's where you carry your groceries and all your belongings in and out of your car. And you basically live your life out of your garage. Notice on this side we have more wooded, more space from your neighbor. Over here, there's the neighbor's garage. So the side of the house is going to be here. So when you pull into your courtyard entry, you kind of have some privacy from your neighbor, so you're not seeing everything they do in their garage, and they're not seeing what you do in yours. Anyway, we have inspection tomorrow. Hopefully we'll pass, and then we can sheathe the floor and start framing, and it'll start taking shape. Anyway, thank you for watching. If you have any questions, contact us at the number below.